What's up, YouTube? It's your boy from the Bay. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button.
Hey y'all, D from the Bay here, and we are back for episode 3 of season 1, Bad Boys Club Los Angeles, only on Zeus Network. So this episode, we are going to get into some new confessional looks that we can rate, drip or chop. And we also get into the Bad Boys going out on their first outing. So they go to a bowling alley, A-list celebrity party. So let's get into it. So here are the brand new confessional looks. At the top, we have Carry On. We're going to say that's a drip. I'll give Carry On a drip for that. Dylan, chop. Moolah, predictable chop. Curtis, chop. William the Baddest, chop. Milan, now, even though this is probably expensive and designer, still chop. Got a K, we have another chop, and Darrell, chop. So we start episode 3 with Curtis and Moolah, team straight, outside having a conversation by themselves. And they're talking about how they feel like the whole house is against them. And this is turning into something that they didn't really think it would turn out to be. Moolah is blaming his actions on being drunk. He says he does remember everything that happened, but he feels like because he doesn't drink too often, and this is a show where he's been drinking a lot, that's kind of why he kind of, went crazy. Now, him and Curtis still stand on the fact that they did question Carry On, and they do feel that it was right to question Carry On about his sexuality. So they, still stand on that. Then we see Milan walk out there and join their private conversation, and he's there, checking temperatures. He wants to know what's up, how's everybody feeling since last night, and they are on that. They're letting them know, like, what I feel like that sneak that you did on Curtis was weak, very weak. So Milan flips it back on them, and he lets them know, nah, I think what y'all did was weak, and I want to know, Moolah, why did you feel the need to hit Carry On? So Milan is not letting up on Moolah. He lets him know, like, this is very homophobic. I don't know what you guys got going on. This is coming off, you guys are trying to segregate the house, and how he feels that Moolah is handling the situation completely wrong. And, he kind of lets him know how he feels this is coming off. Very homophobic, and Moolah lets it know that he doesn't want to come off that way. He's not a homophobic person. What side Carry On was going to be standing on, because he feels like if you are gay or you straight, you should stand on that and you should represent it and not really be in the closet. Milan says that's not their decision to make, and that they should, respect Carry On. If he decides to be in the closet or not, that's his decision to make. Now, I will say I agree with with Milan, because I feel like it's Carry On's decision to make whether he chooses to come out to the closet. Carry On grew up in a church family, and it's not always easy to come out in that setting, because you don't know how it's going to be perceived and how people are going to judge you. And so I do believe that Milan is right here. So eventually we do see that Moolah and Curtis do understand where Milan is coming from, and they do plan to apologize to Carry On, because Milan lets Curtis know that he is sorry for sneaking him. More so sorry that he got involved. He's not really sorry for sneaking him. He's sorry that he got involved, because he feels like Carry On should be able to handle his own and he shouldn't have jumped in. But he doesn't feel sorry for sneaking him, because he does stand on the fact that he feels like him pushing Carry On was an attempt to be a jump. They tried to have a jump, and a jump was not going to be had. This is where we see Moolah let it be known that him and Milan do have some history. Moolah owns a radio station, and Milan has been a guest on that radio station before. So he lets him know, I don't have no problem with gay community, and you've actually been on my show before. We have a history. I have no problems with y'all. So that's not how I want this to come off. So he apologizes. They apologize. They seem to squash the beef here. Curtis does say it is up with Milan. He said, we can squash the beef, but I do want you to know I'm not letting that sneak go. And if we got to get into a boxing match, or however you want to handle it, I feel like that's how it should be handled. He wants to have a boxing match with Milan and get his lick back. Next, we see Carry On, Gutta K, and Darrell, and they're out on the balcony talking about the same thing, about last night and how they feel everything went down. So we see Gutta K say that because Moolah was so pressed about Carry On sexuality, that, Moolah is starting to come off as a bit suspect, and, Carry On agrees with that. He says, that's very suspect. I don't know why they were so worried about my sexuality. And they're kind of just like, yeah, we might need to check them about that. So Darrell is noticing that the vibes between Gutta K and Carry On are kind of flirty. So he does straight up ask, like, if you got any problems, why don't you get your baby mama to handle it? They kind of laugh that off, and they let it be known that Carry On is just working with Gutta K on his music and kind of helping his brand and his image. Yeah. So that's what Gutta K and Carry On's relationship is going to be presented as on camera. To take the pressure off him, Gutta K turns the attention back to Darrell, and he's like, Darrell, why were you beating up all these boys? You done got in like 4 or 5 fights. You beat up the baddest white boys, and you and Milan got in a fight. Like, what the hell is going on? Why are you fighting everybody? Darrell let it be known that him and William actually have history as well. They have been friends online for a while, and they've had disagreements online as well. So he's kind of like, when they were having those disagreements online, he's kind of looking at him sideways. But while they were friends, he was letting Darrell know that there was another baddest. So he knew Dylan was coming in the house, and he was letting it know, in prior side conversations that he was going to be about that with Dylan. He wants to see who really is the baddest, and he really wasn't going to let that go. So when he got in the house, it was going to be up and stuck with Dylan. So Darrell was kind of letting everybody know that, yo, this is how William came in. This is what he was letting me know. So I was making him stand on that. So we then transition into the baddest white boy duo. We see William on the bed. He lets Dylan know that he's writing music. So that's what William is doing. And they just want to have a conversation about the night prior. And you could see that they are talking about it. They're very terrified of how everything went down. This is not the bad boys they thought they were signing up for. But we know that Dylan is a confessional gangster. So he's going to go in the confession and lie and say that he was ready for this. And this is exactly what he signed up for. So William does echo what Darrell says, and yet lets Dylan know that, yeah, him and Darrell used to be friends before this, and he does find it very strange that Darrell hit him because he was like, we were friends. I did not expect that from my friend. He does leave out the fact that he was talking shit about Dylan to Darrell, but, of course he does. This is where they kind of discuss the gay versus straight thing, and William lets Dylan know that it's hard in this life already being a gay man, so to have this kind of portrayed on TV is not how they expected this to go down. Dylan lets us know that he used to be straight, and he was very DL before coming into the house, but he kind of just realized that he needs to live his truth and just be the gay man that he is, and he feels much more happier being the gay man that he is. Now, I will say this is another one where I'm kind of like, you were saying you were DL, but it's very hard to believe, sir. The gay is kind of just exuding off of you. So for any girl or boy to believe that you are straight is very hard to believe. But I'm glad that you are out of the closet now and, confident in yourself. Next, we see Carry On meeting up with Team Straight, Curtis and Moolah, and he's coming to check their temperature and ask them what the hell was that all about. Like, is everything cool with y'all? Do y'all need me to? Do y'all want to fight? Like, is it really a problem that I might be interested in both sexes? Like, what's really going on? So Moolah and Curtis ask Carry On straight up again, like, what is the deal? Are you into men or are you into women? Like, just be plain about it. Be simple about it. We know Carry On is a troll, so he flips the situation back on them, and he's just like, "You two seem very close. Like, what's the deal between y'all?" And y'all keep asking me, like, "Is everything between y'all straight, or is there something that y'all trying to like deflect?" So this kind of pisses Moolah off. So he just lets it be known, like, yeah, Carry On, I hit you because you got loud. Period. Like, you got loud on me, so I hit you. And Carry On says, well, how old are you? And he goes, it doesn't matter. And Carry On goes, well, it does, because that hit was weak as fuck. Like, you're weak. Your hits are weak. And honestly, I kind of respected Carry On in this moment, but at the same time, I didn't, because you need to get your lick back and stop talking. Like, you're doing way too much talking for me. Your mouth was bloody the other day before, so you need to make somebody else's mouth bleed and get your lick back. Carry On starts doing that stupid, like, I don't know if y'all seen Hey Arnold, but there's this one episode of Hey Arnold where Arnold has a bully at school, so somebody tells him that acting crazy is a way of scaring the bully.
There's something you should know, Harold.
What?
I'm crazy. And you should never hit a crazy person.
So this is what Carry On chooses to do. He starts acting a fucking fool, talking about, oh, if y'all really want to get down, like y'all not ready to handle my hits, and y'all not ready to bring what I'm bringing, and it's this whole like, I'm really scared of you, and so I'm gonna pretend to be crazy so you don't hit me ever again.
You really are crazy.
So they're keeping the pressure on him. They're just like, tell us your sexuality. We don't care about all the shit you're talking about. Carry On's talking about he's a rock star and he lives his life and he does whatever the hell he wants to do. So they're just like, I don't care about all what you're saying. Just put it plain and simple. Do you like men or do you like women? Then we finally get the reveal. Carry On admits that he represents the B in LGBT. So Carry On admits that he is bisexual and he does like both. So this is where we see Moolah get super interested because this is what he wanted all along. So he's asking him like, "Oh, how does your dad, Kirk Franklin, like, how does your preacher father feel about you being gay or you being interested in men?" And Carry On's like, "Look, you hit me. I'm not answering you. I don't have no reason to answer you. I don't even know why." He just came out to them, but he just squashes the beef or whatever and just lets it know like it's none of your business what else I do. I let y'all know I'm bisexual. That's all y'all need. So now we jump over to Milan and Anthony. Milan's putting his clothes away, and Anthony comes in to, talk about the situation that happened last night once again and kind of give their stance on how they feel about everything. Now, they bring up a good point that in the minority communities, straight men do have a problem with gay men and they do not like to be associated with them or seen with them or known that they have gay friends. And that does bring up a bigger conversation because we still find that, that's an issue today. Like we have a lot of straight and gay shows where there's straight people and there's gay people, whether it's on Now That's TV or Zeus or any popular network. And we do see that the straight people and the gay people do have a hard time associating. It's not necessarily on the gay side having a hard time associating with the straights, but the straights having a hard time associating with the gays because they don't want to be looked at as gay. So they do bring up that conversation right here. Then they get a phone call from the Boss Bitch CEO herself, Miss Nunshin. She is on the phone and she's letting them know, like, y'all, we have a party tonight. It's an A-list party. It's going to be hosted by London on the Track, and it is sponsored by Zeus. So I want y'all to wear your baddest outfits, be on time, and look right, and don't embarrass us. Basically, like, you guys are representing bad boys, so don't embarrass us. So they go downstairs. We see all the boys kind of just sitting around having fun. They're like reading books, playing Uno cards, doing that. And Milan and Anthony let them know, like, hey guys, we have our first event finally. We are going to a bowling alley tonight. It's going to be a party that's hosted by London on the Track. Zeus is producing it, so we have our first time to make a huge impression on the city of LA and let them know that the bad boys are in town, and get them hyped up, and he lets them know that they do have 30 minutes. Yes, 30 minutes.
Do you know you have 30 minutes? Are you kidding me? 30, yes.
Okay, so let's get into these outfits that these boys decided to wear. First, we see William Nebadas. He's wearing this money printed onesie, looking a hot damn mess, looking like, Oscar Mayer wiener in a sausage case full of money. I don't know what he was going for, but it's not a cute look. It's chopped. Then we see Curtis. He's wearing a typical New York like G Unit outfit. He has on the vest with the Timberlands and the jeans, and I will say I do like it. It's pretty dripped. Dylan, he looks crazy. He looks like he's going to a funeral. It's just this tight button up all black outfit. I don't know what he was thinking. And then we all knew what Bird Eyes Moolah was going to wear. So no mystery there. In my opinion, Anthony is best dressed for the night. He's very dripped out. Everything's designer. He looks very good. He came stepping in and dripped out. Jarrell, just, basic turtleneck and some cargo pants. I don't know. Very, very basic. Carry On, very basic as well. This flannel sweater type thing with some basic ass pants. Wasn't really trying. Gutake looks like they were going to middle school, high school, for the day. They have on the skirt that all the black girls wore, and the braids down to their ass with the basic Mickey Mouse sweater or whatever that is. Don't like it. And then, Milan trying to do the most with his body out and this whatever outfit. Now, I will say Milan does look good, but it's just... So they get on the Bad Boys Sprinter and they're headed to the party, But Milan asked everybody on the bus, what do they feel that a bad boy is? Like, what does a bad boy represent? Carry On goes first, and he says that a bad boy is someone who sets his own path and isn't afraid to cross boundaries whenever they need to and whenever they would like to. Milan says that a bad boy is somebody who stays in their own lane and doesn't care about what's going on around them and knows when to turn up. Curtis says a bad boy is someone who makes their own rules and is someone who is also unique, not afraid to be themselves, but also very unique. Darrell says that a bad boy is someone who exudes confidence and that's someone that nobody can tear down no matter what. Moolah leads them into a bad boys on 3 chant, and we finally arrive to the bowling alley. So this is a very A-list bowling alley in LA. This is Corbin Bowl. We see that Natalie is right before them, and she goes over to the bad boy sprinter to get them out of the bus and have a chat with them before they enter this A-list celebrity party. She lets them know that she wants them to build up the Bad Boys brand and set a great example because this is the first time they get to go out and show themselves as the Bad Boys and build up their brand. She lets them know this is just the beginning and she wants to see so much more for them. And she actually gives them the task to plan a party in LA, and she wants to see them throw the hottest party in LA. So we'll see how that turns out. This is where we see them end up doing the red carpet. So this is their first taste of actually being the bad boys and getting that glamour lifestyle of red carpets and questions and all the whole nine. So they do their red carpet and then they head into this jam-packed, super busy, super celebrities everywhere party. So they're having a good time. You know, the music's playing, there's celebrities everywhere, and they're dancing. Now, this is where we do see William twerking his body in this onesie and looking a hot mess. He's shaking everything everywhere, and the boys are not happy with it. So if looks could kill, Moolah would have been killed William, because Moolah is giving William the death stare. He is so embarrassed. This is exactly what he was talking about when it comes to gays versus straights. And this is the thing that is another catalyst into him being the homophobic villain of this season. Curtis must have had his spidey sense tell him that his boyfriend was having a bad day, because we then see Curtis immediately go over to Moolah and whispered in his ear and basically is like, yo, are you good? Like, everything cool? And he's like, come on, let's go outside. Let's go and talk. They go outside to talk, and Moolah is basically letting Curtis know, like, William is embarrassing me. Like, he's twerking. I felt a little bit of a jiggle, and I don't play with that. You know I'm not like that. Everybody in the house knows that I'm very homophobic, so I don't know why William would play with me. Just because we had a little kumbaya and everybody's kind of getting along doesn't mean that I want to feel any parts of William around me. And I honestly think him just looking at William shaking over there is bothering him, because honestly, it's bothering all of the boys. They just talked about building up the brand, and they all feel like this isn't the place for William to be looking and acting like this for the Bad Boys brand. So Curtis agrees with him, and he lets him know, yo, if you feel this way, I think you should check William. I think you should check William, not right now, but let's, check William, because you're right. William's making us look crazy, and if you felt him dancing on you, then that's super disrespectful. So let's go ahead and check him. So that calms Moolah down, and then they go back inside, and this is where they're chilling, they're still bowling, but then a crazy fight breaks out. We have the baby. I don't know if you guys remember this, but the baby, and there's a singer, I think her name is Danielle Lane, and her brother is at the bowling alley. So the baby is dating this girl, and I don't know if he was misusing her, mistreating her, whatever the case of the story is, because this is pretty old, guys, but they get into a fight, and we see Danielle Lane's brother getting tossed around like a rag doll. So that's where the episode ends, y'all. And I'm super excited to do episode 4 and see what happens with this. So join me again. Reach out to me in the comments and let's talk about it. What did you guys think of this fight, this bowling alley, and how the boys behaved on Bad Boys LA? I would rate this episode a 6. I do believe that it had some good conversations that were being said, and it was cool to see the boys go to their first outing, but it did feel like it moved at a slower pace, and we were continuing a conversation that's been going on for 3 episodes.
Hey everyone! Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.